You motherfucking two. You motherfucking you motherfucking you motherfucking tube. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. I just had to make one, man. All my boys been talking shit, clowning on me and everything, man. But I just been doing my thing, man. I've literally have sat down in front of my computer on many a days and said that I was gonna make a video, but start fucking around with the keyboard, start making the track. Shit, man, can't do both of those at the same time. But since I fucked up my keyboard and I'm out of a keyboard for a couple days, I figured, what the hell? Let me get on here real quick. So the hot topic right now is the AJ Wilder and the pound for pound list. The one thing about both of these is kind of one and the same. Boxing needs to be interjected with the enthusiasm of rabid fans of whoever, whether it be AJ, Wilder, Lomachenko, fucking Kovalev, or whoever these fans are of any particular fighters. Boxing needs all of them. Part of the game that these boxers play with each other is us. We are part of the theater. We are probably the biggest and major part of the theater, because we've seen greater arguments between fans of fighters than we actually see action in the ring when the two fighters fight. And it ain't just a big money heist that happened a couple years ago. We've seen this in many of fights. So for me, myself, I've just tried to take a step back and just enjoy the entertainment of the fights. Because what I realized is that very rarely are any of these high profile fights as entertaining as less profile fights. I can honestly say over, I think it was last weekend, I watched a pretty good fight. Dude out of Cleveland, Yandale Evans, I believe his name was, fought a dude named something Rosa. Really good fight. Really good scrap. Not a classic, not like an all-time great fight, but it was a really good fight, I think that was, last year, maybe? I think one of the best fights that I seen all of last year was like Jesse Vargas versus, God damn it, what's that boy name? Saddam Ali. That was probably one of the best fights I had seen all year, but it wasn't a big fight. It wasn't a high-profile fight. So I've just learned to just take a step back and just enjoy the fights, enjoy the action. Triple G Canelo didn't bother me because I didn't have a horse in the race. I didn't give a fuck who won. So I just sat back and enjoyed the fight. So that's what I'm starting to do more. So you probably see me on here less still, but I had to get back on, man. My boys was talking shit, man. And then, one of the other things is that I work nights. So, niggas call me, get on the horn, and there was plenty of days, man. I got off work at fucking 7 o'clock, and we got on the horn and went for hours, And I'm thinking, fuck, I gotta go to sleep, And it only took a few times for me to be sitting at a red light, dozing off and shit. Made me realize can't do it like I used to. Can't be burning it at both ends no more. So with the AJ Wilder situation, I'm gonna sit back, listen to y'all guys a little bit, because we are the theater. we are the main portion of the act. Us boxing fans, we will create the drama, probably more drama than any fight that will ever happen. Just as well as the pound for pound talk with Terrence Crawford will probably be better than any of his fights. And that's no knock on Terrence Crawford. He, up to this point, had just been that much better than his competition. But when it comes to pound for pound, I know, shout out to my boy Cigar Boxing, man. He brought up the point of Kovalev being in the pound for pound at all. And me, myself, don't really have a problem with Kovalev being in the pound for pound, because as subjective as the winner and loser of a fight is, think about how much more subjective creating a pound for pound list would even be. You know? So if a motherfucker wanted to have Kovalev in a top 10 and all of that shit, so be it, man. I mean, you could make a case for him, you know? Just as you can make a case for a whole bunch of other guys. And it's probably a whole bunch of other guys in the top 20, 11 through 20, that you could make a case for that should be in the top 10. So, the best thing that I probably heard was B-Talk when he said it should only be one pound for pound guy, you know? What's the point of a list? Because every division has its own rankings. So, it just should be one. And if Terrence Crawford is gonna be that one, he probably should have already been that one. But I'm good with Terrence Crawford, man. Or even if somebody wanted to say Lomachenko, man. Because the criteria and the subjectiveness of it is so wide open, man, that everybody has their own criteria. So, who I think might be pound for pound one. I'm sure I could make a case for a bunch of guys, or whoever guy I wanted to choose. And not really much anybody could say to make me change my mind about it. And when it comes to AJ and Wilder, the only thing we got to do is sit back, keep talking about the fight. Guys who want to argue about it, keep arguing about it. Guys who want to talk down on one guy over the other, keep doing it. Because those are the things that'll make the fight happen. And obviously, we want nothing more than to see the fight happen. So, all of that is part of the allure of the fight. All of that will be absorbed, inherited, and taken into consideration when the fight actually does happen. So, when it boils down to it, the thing that makes good fights great, or great fights better, is the emotional attachment or the emotional involvement that we as fans will have with a particular fighter when the fight actually happens. Just like Triple G Golovkin. Canelo Triple G. The fight wasn't necessarily a great fight, but for the caliber of fight that it was, and the history and the backstory that the fight had, it was a good fight when you take in all of the emotions and the attention and the bickering and the arguing and the back and forth that went with the fight. It was a damn good fight. You know what I'm saying? So if it was just two guys you never seen and never heard of, it would have just been okay fight. So I'm just trying to sit back and enjoy more action, more boxing. Funny thing about it is, one of the guys that hasn't been mentioned in pound for pound talks, only simply because he hasn't been in big fights. But I believe that he's been in as big a fight probably as Terrence Crawford, or at least his competition. That's Big Bro Charlo. I mean, I ain't even really necessarily seen the dude in a tough fight. But obviously, when it comes to pound for pound, then we gotta bring in the quality of the fights, and not necessarily the quality of the opponent, because Julius Ndongo wasn't high on nobody's pound for pound list, but Terrence Crawford dusted his ass off. You know what I'm saying? But Julius Ndongo really wasn't no different than Julius Williams. You know what I'm saying? But it wasn't as high a profile fight because it wasn't for all the belts. You know what I'm saying? So when you really think about it, it's just all over the board. It's just too many fights that haven't happened, too many fights that should happen, too many fights that could happen that can clear up all of this shit where we wouldn't have to debate about it at all. But because we are part of the theater, the main part of the theater, we have to keep on arguing about it. It's your boy, Rollo Jenkins. Holla at your boy.
Listen, I told you give them something visual, so you in the head and made your own YouTube-based TV show. It's an array of IPAs and fighters on the road. Got a question? Put them in your comment section right below. Barbershop talk while you're sitting in your living room. Pacquiao, Mayweather, and we can't forget the brews. Coming to you live with the scoops like a ladle. Allow me to introduce the boxing round table. Yeah.